Tell me you're a pampered pet without telling me you're a pampered pet. That doesn't help your case. You're supposed to be a farm dog. That doesn't help your case. You're supposed to be a farm dog. Yeah. You're supposed to be out in the elements, helping me. Not in here, taking a nap on the couch next to the heat. Welcome back. Since we had some nice weather and it's going to be raining and then get cold, we figured we would go ahead and push these fire or these burn piles in. We did light them on fire the other day, but they're spread out a little too much to really take hold and actually light. So we're gonna go out there and push them together and get them to where they will light. That one was probably the best packed one that we had, and it actually burned up pretty well. Other than the fact that I didn't have the fire, I started the fire in the center and it didn't really go out like I thought it would. Probably can't hear that wind very well on the video. However, it is very windy out. We have a really strong south breeze currently, and that's going to turn into a really strong north breeze tomorrow afternoon. And tomorrow is New Year's. Obviously, tonight is New Year's Eve. So I'm going to get a bunch of stuff done now so that whenever tomorrow I need to clean the barn out, I don't have to worry about other stuff or getting ready for some frigid temps. And it's gonna be 10 degrees, not tonight, but tomorrow night. Tonight it's gonna be like 50 something overnight. And then, like I said, the winds are gonna start changing and come out of the north. We wanna have everything ready for that. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blow the water out of the lines for the power washer. And it's pretty simple. We just use the air compressor and we leave a chuck off the end of this so that all the water that's in here can simply just come out. So we'll take a little bit of this hose and we'll bring it right here. There you go. We'll leave that hose just like that, and then we'll come to this end with this and this. Go. Now what we'll do is we'll disconnect the water, which that's already drained back anyhow. Then we'll put this on here. Most of you probably know that our shop is not insulated. Eventually it will be. However, it wasn't in the budget, so we're just taking some extra precautions. We're gonna go ahead and cover up the pressure washer. We're gonna cover it with the heat exchanger in hopes that the little bit of heat that comes off of here won't just go up to the ceiling, it'll go over to there and help to keep that warm. A little extra. That's all it's for, is just to help ensure that that doesn't get frozen. Even though we blew all the water out of the lines, there's still water in there. Not enough that I'm terribly concerned about it if it did freeze, but if I can prevent it from freezing and not have to worry at all, I'd rather do that. Need to take this down and fill her with oil. We just changed everything. So I mentioned earlier, this car's done for the year. Especially since we're supposed to get some snow and sleet and I think a little bit of freezing rain tomorrow night. They're gonna put salt on the roads, and that's why it's done for the year. Yeah, we could obviously drive it again next week when it rains, but we just pretty much park it for the year, and then come springtime when they got all the heavy rains that washes all that salt off and I know it's gone, makes me feel much better. You probably noticed the skid steer go by, and that's because the skid steer is obviously used for us to clean our barn out. I do need to, I'm curious if anybody else has a farm dog that soaks up all the heat like this one does. You enjoying yourself? Trying to dry off? Pretty wet out there, isn't it? Looks like you're living a rough life. All right, so where we left off last video, it was New Year's Eve and we had rain and potential snow, but definitely cold weather coming in that following night, which would be today. So today is New Year's Day, and we need to change the bedding for the sheep, mainly because I won't have time this week to do it. So we want to get it done now. And we also want to beat the cold and give them some new fresh bedding that's clean and dry and good for them. What they've got now is fine. However, it's going to be cold most of the week, so we just want to make sure that they have what they need. I walked in and got these guys all excited. Now we're not going to be able to talk. So you can see the hay racks have worked out pretty well, except for a couple of minor flaws. So the first one being is that while the hay does feed to the bottom, it's really hard for the adults to get under the bottom like you see this one over here doing. But they're doing it. I've been combating that just by simply walking over here and spreading this hay out and getting it closer to the edges and up on the sides where it's easy for them to get to it. However, over here, it's not quite that simple. On this one, keep rolling this bale back and forth to knock some hay off of it. It just didn't feed for some reason. Like it didn't drop down and get low enough to where they can bite off of it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that exactly. If anything, I might just leave it. One bale out of 6 is the only one that's done it. So we'll see how it goes throughout the winter. But overall, I really do. I love it. This went pretty well. Very happy with how they're feeding it. They did waste a bale that they'd knocked out. That's what you see all over the ground. All the lambs are happy, they're running around. However, we need to get started because the rain's not stopping. It's only gonna get colder. So I want to get these doors open and get everything they need in quick rather than fight with it when it's colder. I suppose we should also mention, obviously there's a lot of manure on the floor. However, look at how not dusty the floor is. That is much better. Oops, sorry. There, Joy. So we have learned our lesson. Don't put the sawdust down early. Yeah, it seems like you're trying to be proactive, and you are being proactive, but it's just not going to work out. If you think back or remember a few videos back, when we had to clean up the barn or clean it out because we made the sawdust was too dry, we laid it out early, way too early, and it just dried out on us. I backed the trailer in here and used the dovetail, lowered it down, and I just drove the skid steer up on it, grabbed some scoops. I don't think I'm gonna do that today. This is where we generally park the trailer, especially when it has sawdust in it. And I think what I'm gonna do is just simply lower it down right here. Might have to move it over, change the angle a little bit so I can get on there easier. But I think that's what I'm gonna do, is lower the tail down, grab some scoops of sawdust, and I think I'm just gonna take them down this way, go in the door, and I'll dump it over the panels at the bottom. Because I want to keep these guys outside the least amount possible. As you can see, this is just a watery mess. It's gravel. There's still a little bit of mud over there. Not mud, that's fresh dirt, manure. From when they had to stay out here for a few days when we cleaned it out last time. Just because we didn't have time during the week. And since the weather wasn't bad then, we didn't really mind leaving them out there. Now I wish I wouldn't have, because all that manure has been left behind. But this will get them minimal exposure to the cold. It's not freezing yet, but it will be here probably another hour or so. And the lambs, they're gonna come back inside to the barn. It's not gonna kill them. However, I want to keep them as dry as possible, because in the end, it's probably gonna be easiest for me, as it'll lead to less potential issues. So the purpose of that was to line me up better with this gate back here, which I think is going to work very well. Yeah, much better. So now I'll have the whole dovetail to drive up instead of just a portion of it. George wanted to come see his sheeple. What are you doing, buddy? You can probably tell it's a bit of a tight squeeze. I didn't quite think about that at first. Well, I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is I've got all the sawdust I need in here to put a top layer on here. The bad news is this mom right here clearly going into labor, so we're gonna have to stop what we're doing because we don't want to interrupt her.